Hello, good night. My name is Luca and my partner is Fernando. And we're talking about in this blog the topic of racism. And we're going to answer the following questions. Do you consider that there exist races determined by their genetics? And why is this a problem that interests philosophy? And how can these ideas be confronted?
Well, it is now widely open that within the scientific community, there is the concept of a race as a biological category that has no basis in genetics. The human species is highly genetically diverse, but in this diversity is distributed across all populations, and there is more genetic variation within populations than between populations. The idea of race as a biological category is therefore a social construct rather than a scientific one. The notion of genetic superiority of certain races is a problematic and discredited idea, with a long history of being used to justify acts of violence and discrimination. This is why the idea of race in relation to biology and genetics is matter of a philosophical interest, as raises important ethical and political questions about the nature of human differences and the morality of treating individuals or groups differently based on those differences. Well, and to confront these ideas, it is important to promote scientific literacy and to challenge misinformation about the biology of race. This can be done through education and public awareness campaigns, as well as promoting evidence-based and inclusive policies in areas such as education, healthcare, and criminal justice. Additionally, it is important to address the systemic and institutional factors that contribute to the perpetuation of these harmful ideologies, such as racism and discrimination.
Well, the concept of race has been used historically as a way to categorize human populations based on physical traits such as skin color, hair texture, and facial features. However, scientific evidence does not support the notion of genetic superiority of one race over another. The human genome is highly diverse, but all humans belong to a single species and are more genetically similar to each other than any other species. There's no genetic markers that can be used to definitely define a distinguished race. Well, the idea of a race as a biological category has been discredited by the scientific community and is now considered to be a social construct. And nevertheless, it has been used to justify forms of discrimination and oppression, as you mentioned in your paragraph. Well, this issue of interest to philosophy because it raises questions about the nature of human identity, the relationship between biology and society, and the ethical implication of classifying people into racial categories. To confront these ideas, it is important to educate people about the scientific evidence that undermines the concept of race as a biological meaningful category. Also, it is crucial to challenge the historical and cultural narratives that have perpetuated the idea of racial superiority and to promote equality and social justice for all people, regardless of their perceived race. I pass the word to Fernando.
Yep. Well, after all this research, I guess we only can investigate more and probably debate about this topic, but I think racism and races is just like a concept, and well, people likes to talk about it, but I think it's something crucial. And well,
Also, I personally believe that racism is basically a social construct that the human beings have developed. And also, it is not appropriate to promote or endorse the idea of racial superiority, as it has been widely discredited by the scientific community and it is considered to be harmful and oppressive motion. The concept of race has a biologically meaningful category, has been debunked by genetic and evolutionary research, and has been used to justify various forms of discrimination and violence throughout history. Philosophers from different traditions and different points of view have rejected the idea of racial superiority and have instead emphasized the importance of treating all people with dignity and respect, regardless of their perceived race. Thank you.